Hi, and welcome to today's video where we are going to be looking at how to solve algebra when there are variables on both sides of the equal sign. Now, what I will tell you is that this may look like it's incredibly confusing, but I'll be honest with you, if you followed along any of the previous math videos, and you looked at one-step algebra and two-step algebra and combining like terms and are familiar with the concept of zero principle, then foundationally, you will be in a really, really good place. So before we get into today's video, please hit the like button, please subscribe so you're not missing anything. And let's take a look at how to solve this. So if we read this question, what we have here is we've got -4 groups of x plus 4, and it's going to be the same as 4 minus 3 groups of x. So when we're solving these kinds of questions, there's really only 3 steps or 4 steps that you need to do in order to solve this. The first step is to always check and see if there's any simplification that can happen, which means that we're going to be looking for anything that has like terms on either side of equals. In this case, what we have here is we have 4 groups, -4 groups of x, and 4 extra little singles. And then we have 4 singles on this side, and -3 groups of x. So there's nothing that is alike on this side. We have what we call unlike terms. Or in this case, we have what's called a polynomial, which means that they're different, okay? 2 or more different terms. So now what we need to do in order to simplify this question, we need to start shifting things around. And if you've followed two-step algebra, or if you've done one-step algebra, you're probably familiar with the idea of canceling something out on one side and doing its opposite on the other side. Now, if you're a little bit confused by that, it might make a little bit more sense as we start to work through it. I would invite you to pause the video, go back and rewatch, see if you can't figure it out. And if you can't, then drop a comment down below and I'll see what I can do about helping you. So here's what we want to do. We want to try to move the x's, or our variables, to the left side of equals. And we want to move our constants to the right side of equals. And the easiest way for us to do that is to do something called zero principle. If you're not familiar with what zero principle is, we've created a video and we've linked to it a number of times, but we'll link to it again. We'll throw a card in the top right-hand corner that will talk about how to zero something out. So let's go ahead and do that. What we have here is the idea that if we are able to cancel out on this side, and keeping in mind that algebra is all about keeping a balance on a scale, we're going to do something here, and we're going to do the exact same thing on this side to keep it in balance. Okay? So let's do this. Let's take -4x. We're not doing anything with it. So we're going to bring it down. But we want to cancel out this +4. And we know that if we have +4 and we subtract 4 from it, it zeroes it out. So we'll show that. +4 minus 4 equals. And now what we have here is something that's canceled, and we've added this to the equation, but in order to keep balance, we have to add this to the other equation, the other side of the equation as well. So let's keep what we have. We have 4 minus 3x, and then we're going to move a -4 over here. So what we did here, I'll just do it in yellow, I'll square it. So you can see what I did to one side, I did to the other side as well. And now these are going to cancel. +4 minus 4 is 0. So that's going to leave me with -4x on this side is the same as 4 minus 3x minus 4. So let's write that whole thing down. 4 minus 3x minus 4. Now let's go back to that first step. Take a look and see if there is anything that is alike on either side of equals and simplify it, or combine them. In this case, we only have -4x, so there's nothing alike on that side. But on this side, what we have here is we have a +4, we have a -3x, and we have a -4. +4 and -4 are the same. Okay, there's not a variable behind them, they're just little singles. So let's put those together. Let's go negative 4x equals positive 4 minus 4. I'm just going to move that over here, and then move negative 3 behind it. Positive 4 minus 4 is 0. So we'll have negative 4x equals 0 minus 3x. And now what you can see here is that there's nothing alike on either side of equals. Negative 4x by itself, can't do anything with it. 0, can't do anything with that. Minus 3x, that's not the same. So now what we need to do is we need to do exactly what we did up here to move the negative 3x over to this side. So if this is negative 3x, how do I get rid of negative 3 groups of x? Well, I'm simply going to, and I'll write it in yellow this time, I'm simply going to add 3 groups of x. And if I add 3 groups of x here, then I need to add 3 groups of x to this side. Negative 3 groups of x plus 3 groups of x is going to cancel out, leaving me with negative 4x's plus 3x's equals 0. And now what I want to do is, again, go back to the simplification process of this. I've got some groups of x, some more groups of x. Let's put all our x's together. Negative 4 plus 3 gives me negative x equals 0. And now what I've done here is I've solved the equation. I know that negative x is going to be equal to 0. And this, my friends, is pretty much what you have to do. So let's walk through those steps again real quickly. What we want to do is we want to look at both sides of equals, and we want to check and see if there's any type of simplification that we can do. In this case, we could not. In this case, we couldn't either. So if we can't do that, what we need to do is start shifting things by canceling out on either side. So we started off by canceling our constants, which was step 2. Step 1 was see if there's any simplification that can take place. There wasn't. So now we're going to eliminate the constant on one side by zeroing it out and doing the exact same thing on the other side. Minus 4, minus 4. They zero out. And now we'll go back to step number 1. Is there any simplification that can take place? On this side, no, there was not. But on this side, there was. We could take our positive 4 and our negative 4 and put them together. We can combine them because they're similar. They are alike. This is not alike because it has that little pesky x behind it. So we put those together and got 0. And now we're left with negative 4x equals 0 minus 3x. We'll do the exact same thing as we did up here to get rid of or move over the 3 x's. We want to move the 3 x's to the other side. X's to the left, constants to the right. So we added 3 x's here because we were subtracting 3. If we add here, we add here. And that shows us that we are now canceling these out. Go back to step 1. Simplify. Negative 4x plus 3x. Put them together. We ended up with negative x was equal to 0. There's no other math for me to do here. I can't do any more canceling. There's no groups for me to get rid of. It simply was my negative x is equal to 0. And that is how we solve x's on both sides of an equation. If you recall what we've done in algebra, if you recall the steps about 1 step, 2 step, combining like terms, this should be relatively simple, I would think, because you've done these concepts before. It's just a different way for us to look at it. Okay, so like if you enjoy the video, comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you're not missing anything. And we will catch you all on the next video when we're finally done algebra. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.